What is going on? What is going on? I am your host, Vibrant of the Vibrant Truth. You see the title, Brothers Part 2. So, yeah, just going to wait. Hmm. Okay. There it is. 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 Yo, yo, yo. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So this is Brothers Part 2. What the fuck are we supposed to be talking about? I forgot.
It's supposed to be about adulthood and way we look at it.
You got your voice coming out of two places because you're echoing.
No, I'm only on my computer.
Okay, now you're not echoing. Okay. So adulthood and how we look at it. You can start.
Um, to me, I adulthood. Let's start off with adulthood is hard. Period. I think you got to figure out how to be an adult, what kind of adult you want to be. A lot of it, I think, will start from your upbringing. You know how you was raised. It's embedded into you if you want to be a person that people know they can trust and depend on. If you're going to be fake about the things you say and do, or if you're just one of those people that plays both sides of the fence. To me, being an adult means you take on responsibilities and do what you got to do, not just to survive, but to make sure that you're well provided for, not just for you if you're married, taking care of your family and your wife. If it's just you, making sure that you're providing for yourself. Everybody's opinion about being an adult is all different. So I'm willing to hear what everybody got to say about it.
For me, I think adulthood is everything you said, but I'm starting to see now that people is associating adulthood with age. I'm 21, I'm an adult. I'm 18, I'm an adult. But you can't call yourself an adult if you're still living at home with your family or your parents. You can't call yourself an adult if you don't have bills. You can't call yourself an adult if you don't know what it's like to stress about how you're going to pay this bill or that bill or be responsible for things that you would be responsible for if you wasn't living with your family. I feel a lot of people throw the word adult around because they're a certain age and they're not taught that being an adult is providing for yourself without help from mommy and daddy or family members. Now, I get everyone needs help from time to time. Everyone needs, you know, everyone falls on hard times sometimes and they need a hand up. But to do it all the time and not have the responsibility of paying bills or the responsibility of even just renewing a car registration or your license. I can't see that as being an adult. We were forced into adulthood at a very young age, and it wasn't at any fault to our mom. It was just circumstances of life, and again, the family we had. We had to learn how to fend for ourselves at a very young age and very quickly. Now, I get that the way that you and I think is not very popular, which is probably why I don't have many friends now because I don't think like everyone else thinks. I don't see things how everyone else sees it, and which is fine. It's fine that you don't want to agree with my thoughts or my views. But at the same time, how are you going to dislike me because I have different thoughts and views from you? Like it's like people take my views on adulthood as me being an asshole or stuck up or chauvinistic or whatever you want to call it. I come from a different era. I come from an era where you can't call yourself an adult unless you're providing for yourself. That's just how we was raised. Now, we've been providing for ourselves since the age of 14. Yeah, we had our mom to help us with some things, but we was earning since the age of 14. So to hear young people 17, 18, 20, 21, oh, I have a job. I'm an adult. Okay, but what bills do you pay? You still live at home with mom and dad. You're not paying rent. You're just living there. So you have no bills to pay. We had to give our mom money. That was basically considered getting us ready to learn how to pay rent.
But
So
see, the problem is right now is you have a lot of parents that is kind of like around the same age as their kids, so they can't really teach them how to be an adult because they still learning how to be an adult themselves. As for us, our mom was young when she had me and our older sister. She was a teenager, but she wasn't learning how to be an adult while she had us. She was already an adult because of her upbringing, because of how our grandmother was and what she got instilled into her. On top of it, my mom taught us how to be individuals, how to look at life from a different angle, but she also couldn't teach us how to be men. And I think that's two ways to look at how you could be an adult because females today, I feel sometimes try to take on the man role. And you got a lot of guys who try to sit back and let the woman do all the work and they just reap the benefits of it. I feel like when you are overall adult man, you should be a provider. You should be a supporter. You should be somebody that stands in that person's corner and be able to motivate and help. Like I said, just because you may be going through something or things ain't working out for you, you shouldn't try to bring somebody else down. And I know a lot of people that when things are going bad for them, they want to hinder somebody else because they don't want them to flourish. I believe like this, when I have friends or when I call you a friend, we are a team. You're part of my team. So if I make it, you make it. I'm going to make sure I keep lifting you up as I come up. You know, again, as an adult, we was always told, whoever's with you from day one, these are the people you keep around you. You're going to have come by night people that one minute they here, the next minute they over there. But you got to be able to cipher out who's with you for you, who's going to help you when you're down, who can you talk to, who's going to be able to listen to you. Being an adult for me, it hasn't been easy because, like I said, there's a lot of things that I really had to learn on my own. And when I learned these lessons, I made sure they stuck. I'm not a person who loves going in and out of prison. I wasn't a person who loved trying to do things to show off. When I got into it, because I was trying to learn and I didn't know how to do it, and I went about it the wrong way. As you said, yes, there's a lot of people that's in their 20s that stay home, live with mommy and dad, all they want. I left when I was 16. Yes, I had to come back a couple of times, but if the truth be said, I never stayed around longer than 3 months, and then I was gone again. Not saying that I wouldn't get jammed up, but I was on my own. I was doing my own thing. If I needed to pick up a phone just to get advice, yes, I was man enough to do that. I was an adult. Hey, mom, can I talk to you about this? What would you do if you was in this situation? Just because you're an adult doesn't mean that you can't call and ask for advice. A lot of people, oh, I'm grown. I don't need your opinion. I don't need your advice. You know, just because you're 21, you're not an adult. Because life can throw a lot of different variables at you. And you got to know how to be able to deal with it. Are you able to function without others? Can you pull your own weight if you was in a situation? Can you provide food for yourself when you're hungry? I lived in a shelter. I had to do a lot of things by myself at 21. I was married, I had a child, and I was homeless. And I figured out a way to get everything to work for me. It wasn't easy, but I made a way. I had to do some manipulation, I had to do some conniving, but I got what I needed, and I started on that path. Could I help somebody else with advice, knowing when they hit a certain age, there's going to be troubles and trials and tribulation? Yes, but if you don't want to take it, I can't force you.
Well, for me, I agree with it. As a man, you're supposed to provide and everything and stuff like that. But there's some men that try and go about it the wrong way. I'm one of them. I'll be honest. There's some things that I try and I fuck it up because I'm trying so hard to get it right. A lot of people see when a man fucks up is they fuck up because they didn't want to do it. They fuck up because they didn't care. They fucked up because it's just they wanted to fuck it up, and that's not necessarily the truth. You have guys that try so hard that it just ends up going left, and I'm one of those guys. So, I mean, for people to judge and just say, "Oh, look, I told him I was going through this, and he tried to fix it and fucked it up, just like I knew he was going to." Some guys don't fuck up because they want to. Some guys fuck up because they try so hard that it just goes left. I can easily go back to doing the shit that I used to do, talking to the people I used to know. But that's not going to solve anything. That's going to solve the right now. And then I'm going to have to deal with the consequences from fixing the right now. So, I mean, I think being an adult also is knowing when you have to take the long road and stick shit out, and knowing when you can revert or take an easy way out or manipulate a situation to your advantage. Now, I'm not saying when you manipulate a situation, it's not going to come with consequences. It's always going to come with consequences. But being an adult makes you realize, okay, is these consequences worth the manipulation? That's where the maturity comes into play at. Because if you just do shit and just say fuck the consequences, I'm gonna deal with it when it comes, then that's not really being an adult. That's not being responsible. That's not being mature. I don't care what no one say. Everyone has to cut corners once in a while. Everyone has to do it. The people that's rich, they've cut a corner or two. The people that fell from being rich, they cut the wrong corner. So everyone cuts a corner or two to survive in life. And if anyone says I've never cut a corner, then they're fucking lying. But I feel like because people have different views and different opinions, that people look at people's actions as being an adult, as specifically an age, or specifically because they have a job, or specifically because they give their parents money to stay there, or because specifically they pay their own car insurance. Being an adult is made up of a whole bunch of different things. It's a bunch of responsibility. It's a bunch of decision making. It's a bunch of being accountable for the shit you do when you do them, when they go left. Now, like I said, there's a few people that say I don't take accountability for my shit, and what would I do? I feel like I take an accountability to a certain extent. I am not going to take accountability for something that I had no business taking accountability for. But it seems like today people want you to take accountability for everything. If you're involved in a situation, because you're a male, you have to take accountability for the whole situation. Why? Why? I don't I don't I don't get that.
I mean, like I said before, it one. Let's break it down. The adult is a word, just like any other word. People can twist that word to their benefit. Right now, we're talking about being adult, which is just an opinion or our opinion on how we may feel or how we may see being an adult. Somebody could watch us and say that we're wrong. I'd be willing to hear them out and see where I could be wrong at and everything else like that. But at the same time, it's just that we're just at a point where we're just expressing an opinion to us. The way that we was raised makes us think and feel the way that we do. Not saying that we're 100% right, not saying that we're 100% wrong. I think everybody figured because by law, when you hit this particular age, you are an adult. And they feel like because I'm here, I can do whatever I want. My terminology of being an actual full-blown adult is being able to understand the world, being able to live your everyday life. Okay, if you're a person who likes to indulge in certain things, a smoker or a drinker, a pill taker or whatever else, and you can still function on a daily basis, your bills are paid, your kids are taken care of, there's food in the house, there's clothes on everybody's back, you're not scrapping to try to figure out how you're going to pay your rent the next month, you are an adult. Because your party time is covered, your responsibilities are covered, and you're doing everything you have to do. I'm not saying that these people are not complaining, moaning, and groaning, but if they don't want for nothing, that's an adult. If I'm sitting here trying to figure out how I'm going to take care of this or how I'm going to take care of that, and I'm picking up the phone, hey, can I borrow money from you, or can you come and put some food in my house? Because you're 47, 48, at that point, I don't no longer look at you as an adult. I look at you as somebody who is depending on somebody else to get you out of a jam. Mm-hmm. Your age is a number. How you conduct yourself make you an adult. How you get by make you an adult. What you do to represent yourself makes you an adult. And that's how I look at people. If you can do everything that you need to do and you're not really hurting for nothing, and you still have time to do this, and you get up the next day and you could go to work, you're an adult in my eyes. But the people that sitting around at home told about they're 32, 33, 47, yeah, I live with my mom. Yeah, you may have felt on hard times, but what are you doing to get yourself out of that situation? Are you relying on your mom and your dad, or are you working towards being the man or the woman you are to pick yourself up, brush yourself off, and get yourself back on that road?
Well, like I said, I see a lot of living with the mom and dad staying where I'm staying, living where I'm living. I get a lot of that. So I know people that's like, I want to say he's 24, yeah, 24. He still live with his parents, don't pay not one bill, has this expensive car, doesn't pay the car insurance, doesn't pay for the gas, has no bills at all. But he calls himself an adult and tries to argue with his parents about when he can come and go because he's 24. And I'm like, well, you're still living in their house for one, rent free, driving their car that they pay for. So technically you're not an adult. You're just of legal age of consent for certain things.
Well, see, I don't really blame the person. I blame the parents. And I say that because, again, based on the mother that we had, she didn't have to say, if you come here, you got to pay. We automatically volunteered to help out because we knew it was the right thing to do. Again, everything starts with your parents and your home upbringing. So if his parents is not making him pay bills or they're not making him do anything, then yeah, why not go along for the free ride? Do that makes it correct? No, but it all starts with your parents. You know for a fact our mom would not just let us lounge around the house, work and not give her nothing, not contribute, not help. I love the fact that she made us learn what responsibility was at a young age. I love the fact that when we got our very first jobs, she said, "Well, here's what you would have to give me on payday because if you live by yourself or in the real world, you're not going to live for free." So, again, you guys sometimes look at the parents and the upbringing that they give into their kids, because again, a lot of parents are like, "Well, they're my best friend, and I don't know where I would be without them. I'd be alone." Sometimes the parents gotta look past that because you're hindering your child. And now your child got the excuse, "Oh, I don't have to want for nothing. All I gotta do is call my mom or call my dad, and they're gonna bail me out." You're hindering your child. Now they don't know the responsibility, and God forbid if your parents was to die the day tomorrow, what are you gonna do? Because now they stuck. They don't know how to survive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll put this out there because I loved our older sister to death. I did. But for yourself, for a long time, she didn't know what independence was. Yes, she helped our mom out with bills and everything else, but she never lived on her own. So when she finally got her own place, it was a little different for her. It was like a foreign country because she was at an age where she was in her 40s, and it was the first time she was branching out on her own. She even told me, "I'm nervous. I'm a little scared because, I never lived by myself before. I never had." So that's what I'm saying. Also, when you get to a certain age and you never, ever lived by yourself or you never had something of your own, it could be a culture shock.
Mm-hmm.
It could be insane. I mean, it's not that you're not an adult. It's just you don't know how to be an adult in a different type of environment now. And that's why I say that word, it's just that, it's a word. It's what you do to make yourself an adult. It's how you know how to function to make people see, "Oh, I can see this person is going to go places. I can see this person has put a lot of time and effort to maturing and growing." Being an adult is like being a tree, because a tree starts from the ground as a plant and it grows and it grows. But how do it grow? It got to have nourishment. You got to be able to be willing to accept nourishment in order to become a good adult. Anybody can be an adult, but how do you become a good adult?
Well, I'm not going to say that it's particularly on the parent. A lot of things have changed from when we were kids to now. Kids have a lot more rights now than they did back when we were kids. So the littlest thing a parent can do to a child that they don't agree with, they can go to the state or they can go to the county, and that's an investigation, or you have the law in your household. And a lot of these parents don't want to go through that. A lot of these parents are scared of that, which I don't blame them. But at the same time, I more so blame the legislatures and the lawmakers, because every little thing now is considered child abuse. Every little thing is considered child neglect. You try to teach a child a lesson nowadays, it's neglect. Why? As long as that child has a roof over his head, food in its belly, clothes on his back, no black eyes, no bruises, no broken bones, happy, why does the law get to tell you how to raise kids now? Back when we was kids, there wasn't really no laws that said you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that, you couldn't do this to your child. Now there's all these laws that say you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't say this, you can't do that, corporal punishment this, corporal punishment that. And these parents are trying to do the best that they can with all these laws in place. But at the same time, the child, if they're smart enough, will exploit these facts just to get what they want. I'm not saying that's in all the cases, but the dude I know that's 24, I know exactly that's what he did. He exploited everything that was put in place to his advantage, and his mom is scared to say 3 words to him now because he exploited that as a child. Now, being an adult, that's a perfect example. Being an adult, I'm going back to what I said before, is knowing when consequences are worth it and when you should just let shit ride. In his situation, if I was his mom or if I was his dad, that would be instance for me to take the consequences that come with my decision, because there's no way in the world I'm going to let a 24-year-old stay in my house rent free. I pay his car note, I pay for his gas, I pay for his clothes, I pay for his food, and then you're going to talk to me like shit? No, 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 no. I would accept the consequences and the repercussions of being a parent and showing him tough love. I mean, well, there's nothing that the law can do now because he's of age. But I would show him that tough love and tell him, listen, you got to go. You got to go. You don't want to help out, contribute. You're back talking me. I bust my ass 7 days a week, working in a hospital, 16-hour shifts, 13-hour shifts, just to pay for where you stay at, put food in your stomach and pay for your car, and you're going to disrespect me? You got to go. Now, would it hurt me? Yeah, it would. But at the same time, you know, our mom, you used to always say sometimes tough love is the best love. So I feel like being an adult now, people look at it as easy because of everything that was put in place to protect the children growing up. So once these children become adults, they still think that they're still protected by the same laws because, like I said, some of these parents are scared to do certain things or say certain things or act a certain way. There's parents that's like, you know what? These laws are in place. That's fine. I'm going to do what I need to do to make sure my child becomes a half a decent person. Now, my motto is, if someone feels that they can raise my son better than me, come take him. I promise you'll bring him back. I promise you. So I'm not going to be scared to do what I feel needs to be done to make sure my son has a quality of life that he deserves. I'm not going to sit by and let him just go and come and run the streets and hang with this crowd and hang with that crowd or whatever and say to myself, well, I can't say this to him because if he doesn't like what I say, then he's going to call CPS on us and then that's going to be an investigation and I don't want to go through that. Hey, if y'all feel y'all can keep him in line better than me, if y'all feel that y'all can teach him life lessons better than me, come take him. Please come take him. I promise you, you will bring him back. I promise you, you will say, Mr. Williams, we were wrong. You're doing the very best you can do with a child like this. So I feel like being an adult very vastly depends on knowing when to put yourself in a situation that's going to have circumstances and when it's okay to let shit go and just cruise down the road. That's just me,
like I said, for me, I know when I was a kid, I said multiple times, oh, I can't wait to be an adult. I can't wait to be on my own. I can't wait to do this and that. And then someday I got these days now where I sit back and I think about it. I'm like, man, I wish maybe I could go back in time where I was a kid and didn't have no responsibilities and hit the reset button and do some things differently. But what's done is done. I'm here. I'm grateful. I'm learning. Every day I learn something new. And like I said, the issue that I have is when people stop learning, they close their brain off because they get to this point where I'm 3 times 7. I don't have to learn no more. And I feel like for me, whether it's a little minute thing, if it's something I didn't know, I'm happy to learn it. I'm happy to keep my ears to the ground. I'm happy to take any advice that anybody give me on any situation because maybe I am doing something wrong. And if I can fix it to make it better for me and mine, then I'm going to do that. I get at this point in time, these days and ages, that a lot of people don't look at it that way. They don't want to take extra encouragement or advice, and that's fine. I can't knock nobody for who they are. What I'm saying is I get tired of hearing people always complaining about they don't understand why they're in a particular situation over and over again. You know, it's like you have to sometimes just sit down and think, okay, I'm no longer this age. I have progressed to this age and maybe I need to make some changes. Maybe I have to realize I got to grow now. I mean, every time I turn a new age, I look for something more to enhance myself that was different from the last year. There's nothing wrong with saying the way I'm doing something is right. But if you're hindering yourself or hurting somebody else in the process, why not stop, think, and say, well, wait a minute, to be a better me, a better adult, maybe I should try this. And if it fails, then you can go back to doing whatever you was doing. It's not saying that you can't look at somebody and take what they're giving out. I run across a lot of people today that is younger than me, and they just think they got the whole world figured out. And I'm like, you're going to be in for a rude awakening, because when you realize things ain't as sweet as you think it is, it's going to shock you. You know, I know people that don't have to work right now because they're lucky enough to be in the stock market and stuff. When the rush hit and they got a good chunk of change, gave up jobs, gave up this, like, I'm good. I'm like, well, what happens when you run out of that money? You know, what happens to your responsibilities then? But like I said, to each their own. I mean, I get it. New time, new day, new age. Could I see myself thinking and living like a lot of people are today? No, that's not my character. You know, the realization is I got bills. I got to pay these bills. Ain't nobody else going to pay my bills for me but me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think a lot of people are afraid of failure too. Like,
I mean, I am too. But it's life sometimes.
Yeah, they come up with a plan that works, and then when it stops working, they're scared to change because they don't know if it's gonna work or if it's gonna fail, and they're scared of failure. Like I said, I fail a lot at a lot of things. Hell, I probably fail at like 2 or 3 things daily. But the thing about it is everyone has a different point of view about everything, not just being an adult, but everyone has a different point of view of life. So everyone thinks what one person think is good, someone else might think is bad. What someone else thinks is bad, someone else might think is good. Now, I'm gonna go back to what you said earlier about finding people your day ones. I like to separate the people that I get to know in sections of trees. The leaves are here for a season. Those are the people that you have a little bit of fun with. You hang out with when you're bored, and they use you for whatever they can use you for, and they go where the wind blows. Then you have the branch that's a little more serious of a friend, but not really a friend. That's not the person you bare your soul to and you call when you're in trouble. Then you have the root. Those roots, those are the ones that's hard to find, and those are the ones you keep. Because that root is going to be there rain, snow, sleet, shine, good times, bad times, confused times. They're going to be there. And it's very hard to find a root in today's society because everyone is always out for what can you do for me? What can I get from you? And it's something that I'm seeing more and more of as times go on. You know what? I'm going to change the title of this. We're going to talk about this shit because I did a video by myself about it, but I didn't have no one's opinion on it. So we're going to change this shit and talk about that. Hold on one second. Perfect. Oops. Hold on. Okay, cool. So, like I was saying, it's hard to find people like that, and I'm not sure if you have anyone like that in your life at the current moment, but I have 1 or 2 people like that in my life or whatever. And like, I feel like certain people feel like because I talk to them about certain things and I don't talk to others, I feel like they feel like they're more important than them. It's not that. Everyone has a comfortability level on what they talk to people about.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable about talking to certain things with those people, and I'm comfortable talking to certain things with other people. It's not I feel like one is more important than the other. Everyone has a comfortability level. How I work, like I said in my video last night, I don't know if you've seen it, but how I work is based off of my astrology sign. My brain is fucked up. So if I feel like I can talk to you, but then at a later date when you're upset with me or we're in a disagreement, the shit I talk to you about, you throw in my face, I'm not gonna feel comfortable talking to you about certain shit no more. I'll still talk to you, but I'm not gonna talk to you about every little thing because now you don't throw shit in my face that I'm insecure about that I thought I could confide in you in. So then when I shut down and I'm not speaking to you about certain things, it's, oh, you don't think I'm important enough to talk to, or you talk to them, but you don't talk to me. No, it has nothing to do with importance. I don't want my insecurities thrown back at me by someone that I thought was supposed to be on my team, on my side. Have I done it to other people a time or two? Yes, I have. And I'm 1000% wrong for it. But at the same time, I've apologized. Like, actually apologized, not said, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I was in the heat of the moment. I've actually said, I apologize. I was wrong for blah, blah, blah. But I feel like nowadays people just want to befriend you to get you to open up about your business. And then next thing you know, that person knows about it. This person knows about it. People that don't even know about you knows about it. And you're like, how the fuck did you find this out? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Sister's cousin's friend told me. Well, how the fuck did they find out? Cheryl told them. Oh, okay. Makes sense. I know not to fucking talk to Cheryl no more. And I mean, that's just how I am. Like I said, I don't know if you have people like that in your life that you can confide in or whatever outside of Danielle, but that's just me.
I mean, yeah, I got a couple of people that I know how to put them in certain categories. For instance, my nephew. I know he's somebody that I can chill with, shoot the shit with, joke around with. But when it comes to talking to something serious and realistic, no, because the way that he thinks is not the way that I think. He don't believe in realism. He believes at the present moment, at this time, what goes on and what he hears is what's vital information. And then I got my brother-in-law where we could talk about everything serious, everything jokative, have a couple of beers together, do our thing as men. And if I need advice, I go to him. We sit down and we have a heart-to-heart. And he tells me what I need to hear or what I should hear and not try to sugarcoat it. You know, and that's what I like. Somebody that's going to go straight to the point and not try to beat around the bush and make it sound like something that they think I want to hear. I like genuine people. But like I said, I can count on my hands how many people I deal with. And that's not that many. Because again, like I said, I'm a person who don't really deal with people. I feel like I hate everybody equally. So until I get to know you, you're at a far, far, far distance away from me. I have to watch how you move to know that you're going to be able to be around me. There was a time when I was younger where I could say I had a very good friend when I lived in California. Everything on a daily basis, you know, we was linking up, chilling, talking, you know, doing. If I told him about something, it stayed with him. If he came to me and talked to me about something, it stayed. I'm that person. I'm like a box. If you say, hey, I need this to stay here, that's where that's going to stay. I'm not one of these people that's going to say, well, remember when you was down and out and you needed some place to go? I was the one that, no. If you get on your feet after the situation and you want to act a certain kind of way, I'll let you be. I now know who you are. You can never come back to me and think that same opportunity is going to be there. Just like when I lived in South Carolina, I had a friend of mine that stayed with me, opened my home up to him and his son. And he came in trying to take over. Now, you know me, I'm not that guy. You're not going to come and take over my house.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to shut a lot of things down. He started catching attitudes. So I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm trying to do you a favor. You was the one that was about to be homeless. I opened my home up because mainly you have a son and I didn't really want your son on the street. I'm not going to say that we was the closest of friends. I met him through a place that I was hanging out at, and he seemed to be like a pretty cool dude.
Mm-hmm.
So I started learning more about him as I let him move in, but I didn't like what I was seeing. And so it got to the point where I'm like, you know what? Something got to change. Either you're going to have to come around and understanding that this is my place, or you're going to have to move. I don't mind being there for somebody and helping somebody out, but it's like you said, you got to understand the level of a tree. Mm-hmm. And if you have those leaves, that's going to make every other leaf bad. You got to start cutting those out. You got to know where your foundation is and how it's planted. Is it flimsy? Because sometimes those roots can be tricky too. You get some very shaky roots that you don't really know about. When you find a good, stern, strong root, yeah, hold on to it. Because that's that person that's going to rock with you through thick and thin. When you're down, they're going to feel down with you. When you're up, they're going to feel up with you. When you need someone to talk to because you're having a bad day, they're going to sit there, listen to you, and help you. You got those shaky roots that I don't know what you want me to tell you. You kind of put yourself in a situation, don't you think? Those are the people you got to not too sure about. So like I said, you got to be careful about who you have around you, because people know how to play on some people's intelligence.
I mean, I think that's why I don't have too many friends or associates out here or whatever, because like I said before, I'm not the walk up to you, hey, how you doing? My name is blah, 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 and try and get to know you. I'm going to sit and observe. Now, if I'm with somebody that knows another person, I do the same thing. If they're talking, I just stand off to the side until I'm spoken to. I don't stick my hand out, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah. I don't interject myself into the conversation. I stand off to the side. Now, if the person I'm with say, hey, this is my friend, blah, 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 this is blah, 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 what's up? How you doing? And then I start listening to the conversation. Then I start watching the mannerisms. Then I start watching the movements. Then I start listening to the thought patterns and the intellect. I can tell within the first 3 minutes of meeting someone if I'm going to like them or not. Without them even saying a word to me, I can tell within the first 3 minutes if I'm going to like them or not. 90% of the time, I'm not going to like them. That's just who I am. But then it's like I get a stigma, or I'm accused of being a terrible person or being a combative person because I stay to myself and I don't socialize, or I don't want to be in a crowd, or I don't want to be around a bunch of people. I mean, take my job, for instance. They're going to a party tonight. They tried all day to convince me to go with them. I don't do parties. I've never done parties. I'm not going to start now. And it's a fucking biker party in Queens. I'm not doing that. So, I mean, and then they try to make me feel some type of way because I said, no, I'm not going. Why? That's my prerogative. That's me. If y'all want to go party, that's fine. More power to you. You can go party. I have no problem with that, but I'm not going to go. I've never, ever been friends with anyone that went to parties, house parties, bar parties, whatever kind of parties, that's had successful runs with every single party. Eventually, your luck runs out with parties. Eventually, someone starts a fight. There's a shootout. There's a raid. There's this. There's that. I don't have time to be looking over my shoulder. If I'm going out to have a good time, I want to have a good time. I don't want to look over my shoulder.
I got you.
That's what they don't understand. I go to work. I come home. That's been my life for years. I'm happy with that. If people that's around me don't like that lifestyle, fine. Have your own lifestyle. But don't try to make me feel like I'm wrong for going to work and coming home and not doing anything. Most people would love to have a guy that went to work and came home and didn't do anything. So I don't understand where people nowadays say, oh, he's boring because he only goes to work and he comes home. Or he's fun because he goes out and parties and he hangs out and stuff. Fun is what you make it. My fun is doing these videos, streaming on Twitch, video games, watching wrestling, hanging out with my son. That's my fun. Why? I hope to help at least one person with these videos. I like playing video games, so I might as well stream them. I like being with my son, even though he's a pain in my butt sometimes. And I like wrestling. None of those things I have to worry about getting in trouble about. None of those things I have to look over my shoulder for. None of those things I have to say, okay, well, if this happens, I could potentially get injured. I could potentially lose my life. I could potentially end up in jail. I don't have those worries. But I don't knock the people that want to go out and hang out, that want to go see friends, that want to go fucking drive around or go fucking to parties or anything. I don't knock them. That's their fun. More power to you. You like it, I love it. But don't make me feel or try to make me feel insecure because I don't like going out and I don't like hanging out with people or whatever. Yeah, once in a while, you can convince me to go to a bar. But ask me how long I stay at that bar. 30 minutes or less. I have a drink, I'm gone. Once I see people start coming in, I'm leaving because it's too many people for me to watch at one time. So I leave. That's just me. You know where we grew up and how we grew up? There was always fights and shootouts at bars. Always.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I'm a traditional, old school, to the heart type of guy. Like I said, I'm not gonna lie. Every once in a while, I'll go up to my corner bar. I know some people up there, so I go up there and I have a couple of drinks, shoot the shit, whatever. But I'm not there long. Again, I play a lot of poker, so I get to sit in a spot where there's a handful of people, but these are people that I know. Do I know them where I hang out with them every day? No, but I know of them. I know how they operate, how they roll, which is down the alley that I roll. So, but other than that, I'm to myself. I do what I got to do throughout the day, and I come home. People know if they want to find me, I'm going to be at home. And if I'm not at home, I'm out taking care of what I got to take care of. People know, don't come to my house unless you call me first. I could be sitting in the house all day long, but if you don't call me, I'm not answering my door. That's me. I'm just that traditional old school guy. It's about me and mine. I can't get in trouble from sitting at home.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you. I watch my wrestling. Every once in a while, I'll jump on my game system. I'm not a big game head like that, but just to kill some time, I'll jump on the game. I love cooking. That's what I do. When I want to relax, I'll get up and just cook for no damn reason.
I like to eat.
So, like I said, everybody is different in their own way. Some people feel like, without having people around, I'm bored. Like I said again, as I said earlier, I hate everybody equally. So it makes it hard for me to try to make friends because I have a big thing about being able to trust somebody. Everybody is not who they say they are. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I don't have time. I'm too damn old to be dealing with the drama and the high school bullshit. So if I don't have people around, I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to worry about my phone going off all day, all night. I have a handful of people that has my number. So if my phone rings, I know it's somebody that I know besides the telemarketers that I could block them. And if I know you have a special ringtone. Everybody that I know got a different ringtone. So I know who's calling me. And if one of those ringtones ain't going off, then I'm not answering my phone. I get a lot of people that say, "Hey, I saw your truck at home. Why you ain't answer the door?" Because you didn't call me first.
Yep.
I could be sitting at home, but like I said again, my lights are off. I don't sit in the house with lights on. I put them on when I do this with you, but the only thing that really is on in my house is my AC and my TV. That's it.
Uh-oh. Twitch took a dump. Give me 1 second. Let me restart Twitch. Can you see my Twitch on your end?
Yeah.
Okay, it came back in. Okay. I'm like you, or whatever, and like I get told all the time I'm boring, or why don't I do this? Why don't I do that? It's not boring to me. I'm never stopping no one from living their life how they want to live it. I get told at work, "Oh, you don't go out, you're boring. You're only 34 and you go to work and you go home." Yes, that's how I've always been. It's not boring to me. To me, it's safe. And people look at me and say, "Oh, a big guy like you, ain't no one gonna fuck with you." I'm not willing to risk that. There's too much I have right now to lose to try to please someone else and say, "Okay, fuck it, I'm gonna go out because they keep pressuring me to." That one time I give in could be my last. That's not a risk I'm willing to take. It's not like it was back in our mom's day where you can go out and have fun at clubs, and if something broke out, it was a fist fight,
Well,
not
let's be clear, man.
guns and knives
Our
and everything
family
like that.
went to one particular bar. They went to one club, and that club was a family club. So if something was to happen, it was amongst people that knew each other, and it was resolved within that night or the next day. It wasn't like you had a whole bunch of outsiders coming to this one place. Our family was known at this club, so when they went out, that was where they went. If people got drunk, they was able to take a cab home and whatnot. They didn't have to worry about, oh, do I have to worry about being stuck here or getting stranded on the streets or whatever else. Today is different. It's like people go out, you got to be scared about people putting something in your damn drink. You got to be scared about if your significant other is going to make it back home, or if your child or whatever is going to come back in the same condition they left in. That's a headache. That's a headache going to happen. I feel bad for parents that has to deal with that, or family members that got to deal with that. You know, so like I said, I agree with you. Why put that? Why even put myself in a spot like that if I don't have to? You know, it's not working. I mean, I get told all the time, if I didn't know this person, I wouldn't even talk to you because you don't look approachable. You may be right. I may not be, because sometimes I'm just having a bad day and I'm not going to fucking respond. You know, I'm a to myself type of guy. If I'm going out and about, I'll be honest. If I'm going to the store, I'm going to the store to do what I got to do, and that's it. I'm not going out to run into to mingle and chat. Some people say, "I saw you at the store," blah blah. Okay, if you see me, you should have said something. Otherwise, I'm going to keep it pushing because I don't have that kind of time to be looking around to see if I see somebody I know. I'm going to get what I'm going to get, and I'm leaving.
Yep. That's exactly why. That's exactly why I don't go to the store too much. Because I like to get what I need to get and leave. I'm not that type of person that gets what I want and then walks around the store and say, "Oh, maybe I can get this. Maybe I want that." That's not me. So, I mean, I feel like in today's present time, people want you to be into what they're into as well, instead of having individuality. I'm not against individuality. What I'm against is inconsideration. That's what I'm against. I'm not saying I gotta know everything that goes on around me, but at least say, "Hey, I'm going out that way. I'll be back eventually. I'll be back late." Cool. I don't give a fuck. Go have fun. But to just disappear, don't know which direction you're going, don't know where you're at, that's sketchy. And I'm not saying sketchy in a sneaky way. I'm saying sketchy like, God forbid, if something happens, I don't know where the fuck you at. So if the police come knock on my door, "Hey, do you own this? Do you own that? Do you know this person?" "Yeah." "Can you tell me where this person?" "Nope, don't know. Just know they went out." And I'm like this because this is how we was raised. When we went out, we wasn't told, "Oh, tell us where you are and who you with and what you're doing." It was, when you get to your destination, let me know you're there. When you're leaving your destination, let me know you're leaving.
I'm the same way to this day.
That's what people don't get. when you say that to people, oh, you want to pry into my life and blah blah blah. Like you're just trying to be a considerate person. Like when you're friends with someone, like I do that when I hang out with people. The few times I hang out with people, if we're hanging out in somewhere else other than their house, and we both have to go our separate ways, I tell them, text me when you get home. I do the same thing to them, even though they don't tell me to. I text them, I'm home. That's just how I am. Like,
I mean, that's even if I had a gathering at my house, I have a rule, and everybody that comes over when I do let people come over knows if I'm hosting and we're drinking, and I know that if you don't reach your limit of drinking, my couch is available. You're not driving home, you want to crash and sleep that shit off, and then you can leave in the morning or whatever else. But that's my policy because it was the way that we was raised. You know, even with our grandmother, if there was people at her house and they was too drunk, she wouldn't let her kids go home. If y'all better go and find a spot to lay down because y'all not going home. And to this day, I do the same thing. If I know I got people over and we all at a limit where nobody should be driving, find a spot, crash. You know, once you feel better, then you can go ahead and go home. Just wake me up so I can lock my door. But I mean, like I said again, a lot of people are just different these days, and that's the part that gets to me a lot. It's just I can't do with today's people.
mm-hmm.
I'm so used to what I'm used to, and people are like, well, you got to get out of that. It's not that simple. I'm accustomed. I adapt. I'm adapted to a certain thing. And it's my characteristic. You can't tell me I got to change that because then to me, that's me being phony, and I'm not a phony person. So I'm gonna be real to who I am. I like the small circle. I like being to myself. And if I can help you, then I don't mind helping anybody as long as I know the help is really needed. Because you got people that would just do that to test you. You know, it's like, can you do this for me? And you go and you do it. But they don't really need the help. Oh, I just wanted to see if you could do it if I really needed something. And like, I don't like that because now you're trying to challenge me on some level. And I'm like, no. So that's why I said I'd rather just be by myself where I don't have people messing up my routine, my life, my days, and then that's it.
Mm-hmm. That's a big pet peeve of mine when people say, "Oh, you have to get out of that." Why? So I can think and feel how you think. Like if roles were reversed and it was us saying, "Hey, you got to think like this," oh hell, would break loose. So why are you telling me I have to get out of my ways? But if I tell you you have to get out of your ways, it's offensive, it's disrespectful, it's rude, it's this, it's that. Like I feel like people nowadays are so one-sided that it's ridiculous. It's like I can do it to you, but you can't do it to me. And if you do it to me, I'm gonna have such the biggest fit that you're never gonna want to do it to me again. And it's like it's crazy. Like shit gets done to me at work all the time that I'm like, what the fuck? And then when I turn around and do it back, it's, oh, you're not being professional. You're not being a manager. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. Okay. What the fuck you mean? It's good for them, but it's not good for me. Oh, it's different for them. They're workers. You're a manager. Fuck out of here. I'm a human first. So don't sit here and tell me because a worker curses me the fuck out because he's angry. And then once I get past my point, I curse him the fuck out and tell him to go home. I'm not being professional because I let him rant as long as I could take it. And then I told him to go the fuck home. That's being very professional because I could have cursed him the fuck out and punched him in his fucking mouth.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
don't sit here.
Tell people too is it's a two-way street. You can't sit here and disrespect somebody and think that person is just going to sit there and be disrespected the whole damn time and they're not going to stand up for themselves. That kills me about people. I can't believe you said that to me. Did you not just hear what you said to me? What did you want me to do? Just sit there? You're right, sir. Yes. No. I have the right to defend myself. I have the right to stand up for myself. That's like if I was at my nephew's house one day, you know, and like I said, we was playing poker. And I didn't like something that he said. No, it was something his guest said, and I didn't like because my nephew daughter was going to bed because she was going to school the next day, so she had to get ready to go to bed. And his friend said, "Hey, turn the radio up. Turn the radio. I want to hear this music." And he already had told him, "No, I'm not going to turn the music up. My daughter's going to bed. She got to get ready for school." And he's still saying, "Man, I want to hear this song." So he done said it like 5 times, and my nephew done sat down. I'm like, "You know what?" He said, "No, my niece is going to bed." What part of no do you not understand? And he wanted to get loud. So, you know me, I'm not going to take that. But what I did the next day is I went to my nephew's house for 2 reasons. One, I felt like I disrespected his house by letting myself come out of character. And that's his house. So I went and I apologized, not for my actions, but because I was in his house and I allowed myself to be taken out of pocket when I shouldn't have. And a lot of people kept asking, "Well, why would you go and apologize?" And you did, because the way that I was raised, you don't disrespect nobody's house at all. I mean, because that could have went a different way and it could have escalated. And it was in his house and he got children. So I felt as a man, I owed him that apology. Not for what I said, not for me trying to defend and protect my circle, but because I was in his house. I could have told the guy, "Let me talk to you outside," or whatever else. You know, and a lot of, like I say, you're one of those people who don't understand that concept either. You know, it's just the way that I'm raised. It was the way that we was raised. Just like I was raised to be a protector. I get a lot of questions like, "Oh, you so protective of this person or that person, and how come?" Well, remember, I was raised this way. I was raised to look after every female in my family. I was raised to look after my little brother. So in my head, I'm supposed to do what I'm doing. It was just the way that I was taught to do this. I don't know a different way. You know, to some people, I'll use out my edge, Jack. "Well, you smother me. I can't do this that way." You know what? Then you go do whatever you want to do. And if you get into a situation, don't call me then. You know, it's like, I don't understand why it's so hard for people to understand. This was the way that I was raised. It's not something you could just go and break. You know what? The hell with this. No, I don't know how to break it. It's embedded. It stayed. It's stuck. That's who I am.
Yep. I mean, I'm the same way, but I'm more of the quiet attacker. Like, everyone that's around me that knows me says they get nervous when I get quiet. Because when I get quiet, that's when I become dangerous. And I try not to let myself get to that point often. But when I'm in a situation and I'm quiet, even if I'm not in a situation, kind of like your situation at your nephew's house, if I'm at someone's house that I'm close with and they have people over and they're being belligerent and they're being disrespectful, if I start sitting there and I start staring at them and I'm not saying anything, that's a problem.
I mean, initially, that's how it started. And he wouldn't shut up. He kept going on and on. And my patient got wore out. And like I told him, like, if I didn't have anger management, trust me, this would have been a lot worse than me just saying words. So I tell people, y'all should be grateful that I had anger management, because it was hell before then. I didn't know how to control anger. I didn't know how to stop myself from going off the deep end.
Yep. I told my homeboy just the other day, I said, if me and my brother was ever in a situation where we had to fight somebody, I would feel sorry for them, because our tempers are brutal. And he's like, "I've seen your temper. It's not that bad." I said, "No, you've seen me upset. You haven't seen my temper." I said, "And you don't know my brother at all. Like, my brother is not the restrainable type when he gets like that. You just gotta let him do what he's gonna do. And then when he's done, then you could try and go around it. But while he's doing what he's doing, he's gonna swing on you too if you try to restrain him. So just let him go." He's like, "Wow, why y'all like that?" I'm like, "It's just how we are. It's just how we are."
I think he just found that out early in life when we was in elementary school. She even told her mom, like, I wasn't able to stop him. I couldn't stop him. I tried. There was only two people that can actually get me under control with no problem, which was Nana and Mommy, to be honest. And then Peaches learned the way of doing it, so it became three of them. But other than that, nobody else really could.
I now as an adult, I just try not to get in that mode because now I know that I could possibly go to jail for shit that I do
Yeah,
when I get in that
definitely.
mode.
Yeah.
So
No, it's not just that. It's like, today, people don't believe in fighting. They believe, okay, you embarrass me, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna come back, and you may not make it to the next day.
mm-hmm.
So it's completely different now than it was back in the early '90s and the '80s and mid '70s.
Yep. That's what gets me too. These kids talk about, oh, you let them talk to you like that, you pussy. Nah, nigga, I'm smart. I don't know what the fuck they have on them. They ain't put their hands on me. They can say whatever the fuck they want. They put their hands on me, it's gonna be a different story. Now, like I told my boss, the couple of times we had arguments, and I told him to come outside. I said, listen, you may be a Leo like my brother, but your temper is nowhere near my brother's temper. But my temper is close to my brother's temper. And I said, if you had came outside, you probably wouldn't have walked back in the building. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Because I'm not gonna fight someone and have to look over my shoulder the next day wondering if they're gonna retaliate. When I fight you, I'm gonna make sure you're damn near dead or incapacitated to the point where you're not gonna remember who you fought, or you're gonna be in the hospital for a pretty long time.
I mean, that's why I said I'm concerned about your son, my nephew, because like I said, as he get older, the world is going to continue on getting worse. A lot of people say no, it's going to get better, but by the time he hits to be 21, it's going to be completely different. You don't know what the future is going to be by the time he hit that age, or how people may be by the time he hit that age. It's getting bad now.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to trust people. It's hard to believe. It's a different world we're living in right now.
And he has a temper already. Boy, does he have a temper.
I just think that's hereditary. I mean, it could be genetics. I could be wrong. I don't know, but all the guys in our family, I remember our uncle, our mom, older brother. I mean, he had a quick temper. And there was no stopping him when his mind was made up about doing it. He's going to do it. I mean, Nana had a hard time getting him under control a lot of times, especially if you mess with Nana.
Mm-hmm. Yep. His son's the same way.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, it could be genetics. Again, I could be wrong. I don't know, but most of the guys in the family is quick tempered.
Well, one has a lot to say, but I've never seen him take action. We just gonna leave that at
Well,
that.
you're right about. Yeah, you're right. I know who you're talking about. He's a lot ballsier when he got somebody with him compared to him being by himself. Because I had to bail him out a couple of times, and it's when he really got ballsy and mouthy. And I know exactly who you're talking about. But he had no problem trying to blow up that family, though.
Oh yeah, because it's family, and it's embedded. It's embedded in people's minds that family is not gonna hurt you because it's family. But like I said, humans are humans. When you push someone to a certain point, you lose control of your actions. Do you mean to do it? No, you don't. But when you push someone to a certain point, it's just
Well, I disagree.
it happens.
Because some people can plan it out because the shit could be over with, and they'll sit there like, "Oh, damn! When I see him again, or he got something." It could be people can plan it out. So I
True.
mean, because sometimes we as people can think something is dead, and that other person to them is not. And when they see you, it's a different story.
Well, I mean, see, that's how I am. I wasn't always like that. I was a lot like mommy. If I told you I was gonna hold the grudge, I could hold the grudge for years. Easy. No problem.
Oh,
But
I'm the same way.
Now it's like, okay, I had an altercation, I had a situation, it's whatever. Me holding on to it is not doing nothing to that person because they're living their life and moving on. So now I try to deal with the situation in the moment. Once it's over, I don't give a fuck about it no more. Now, if you keep bringing it up, then that's going to be a different story. But
Well, see, again, grudges is something I look at differently too, because the fact is, with our aunt, I still got a grudge. I'm not. It's not stopping me from living. It's not stopping me from being happy. It just the grudge that I got is I don't want no ties to her. I don't want to deal with her. I don't give a damn. Don't nobody call me about her. Don't nobody tell me nothing about her. She can live her life the way she wants, even though I know what life she's living is a lie. You know, but at the end of the day, I have no ties to her. I haven't seen her in years. I'm good with that. So I have a happy grudge because it's not fucking up my life. I'm still living. I'm still moving. I just don't want you nowhere near me because if I see you, it may be a problem. So, and like I said, with our older sister, I had a grudge against her for after everything that happened. The difference is I was able to put it to the side after I talked to a couple of people like, that's your sister. You guys been close for years. You got to resolve this. I'm like, well, technically I don't see her, which is why it was important for me to get her number or a way to reach out to her. And we fixed everything. Because like I said, I did see her when I lived in New York. And I walked right past her like if she was a stranger. You know, and she told our cousin, I can't believe he still did not speak to me. And people, I'm like, come on, you should know me by now. If I say that I'm not messing with you, I'm not messing with you.
Yeah, she told me. She told me about that. She called me when they got back to. I think she was staying at Annette's back then, or she was staying at Mel's.
No, she was yeah.
She was staying at Mel's. She called me. She was like, "Guess who I seen?" I said, "Who?" She was like, "Bud." I said, "Where you see him at?" She was like, "Over by Annette's." He walked right past me and didn't say anything. I said, "You sure it was Bud?" She said, "I know my brother. Yes, it was him." I said, "Oh, damn."
So, like I said, I got that honest from my mom too. I mean, it's. I know it's not a good thing, but I can hold the grudge. And like I said, that grudge for 6 years when we all had to move up from the apartment. So, but it got to a point where I started talking to different people, and it was like, you know what? At the end of the day, I mean, believe it or not, my fucking grandmother actually had some good advice to give me, like, y'all both going through things. You need to really resolve that issue. Excuse me. And I was like, well, you know what? Yeah, if that's the case, because she wanted me to talk to the aunt. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I should reach out to my sister. And at that time, I was talking to our other sister. So I'm like, well, let her know that I want to reach out to her and talk to her. And, if she's up for it, give me a way yeah. So one day they were both together and she put our older sister on the phone. And, I apologized for my part that she felt that I had in everything. And the arguments more so, not the situation of us having them leave from where we was at, but, the arguments and the chaos and everything and me walking past her. And so, I took responsibility for that, and we sat for a good 30 minutes, the very first initial talk we had, and apologized, and she apologized, and, we talked about how close we was, and, it was stupid when we both sat down. I'm like, you're right. It shouldn't have went that way. I didn't like the spot you put me in when you told me I was your eyes and ears. That kind of got to me because you're telling me I was your snitch, and I never did that before. So why would you think I'll be doing that time around? She's like, maybe I shouldn't have said it that way, but I thought you would at least told me that she had a car. I'm like, I thought you would have told you that wasn't my place to tell you. What they did is what they did. They should have come to you and told you what they was doing. And
well, I did. With my car, when she came to me and was like, I know that's not Jason's car. I said, no, it's my car. Did I tell her how I got it? No, I told her I bought it from Jason, but I told her it was my car. But that third piece that you said is the reason why situations went the way it went. That third piece and the aunt.
Yeah.
Those two.
I mean, yeah, I definitely agree.
Why all the situations between us went the way it did. Like,
I still say it wasn't just the one aunt. It was both aunts, both cousins, and the third piece.
well, yeah, true.
That's true. That's my feeling on it.
That's
Because
that's
they was
true.
always in the mix.
Yeah, but the other aunt wasn't constantly here.
No, but
The
she had
first
a lot
aunt-
to say where she was.
Yeah, she had a lot to
And,
say when she
and,
was.
and they was always on the phone with each other daily. You know, so like I said, I know conversation because her daughters was the one who was backing up what she was saying. And then, well, when the one daughter always came over that we had to pick up from work, she always said, well, mommy said blah, blah, for me to tell you this. You're in charge. This is your house. I'm like, whoa, hold on. Because at that time, it wasn't in nobody's name but our mom's, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think we're still in our mom. So I'm like, basically, no, it's not. She's maybe taking over paying the bills, but I'm paying to stay here too. So technically, it's all of our place. I mean, yeah, she put the furniture in when she got her taxes and everything else. But as we stated before, if people wasn't involved, it wouldn't have turned that way. I should have stopped my ex from getting involved, just like I feel like you should have stopped your people that you was with from getting involved, just like our sister should have stopped her man from getting involved. It was just too many people in the equation, and it just went chaotic. But for her to feel like I didn't do my part, I'm like, what part would you want me to do? I didn't know nothing about the checks. I didn't know that y'all was all supposed to get checks. I knew nothing about that. You should have heard thing. Well, you should have told me. I felt like it wasn't my place to tell you. That's something she should have came to you and told you herself. Did I take the money? Yes. Did I spend the money? Yes.
Shit, who wouldn't?
But I knew nothing about what y'all had set up or how that was all going. I wasn't even in the picture. I was living in California when y'all signed the papers.
I didn't sign shit. I didn't know nothing about nothing until the check came. Had I known or seen the papers, I would have known, and I probably would have steered her in that direction. I wouldn't have came right out and said it, but I would have steered her in that direction. But my thing about everything is simply this. I've said for so long, and I'm going to say it again. Our mom's kids was considered the dynasty of the family because we was taught to stick together. Nana always spoke highly of us. And motherfuckers ain't like that. It didn't matter if we was talking or not. If there was a situation that needed to be handled, we was there if we needed to be. The rest of the grandkids wasn't like that. So for Nana to put us on the pedestal that she did, and then for them to see that even though we wasn't talking, if shit was going awry and one of us needed us to be there, we was there. They didn't like that. So they did whatever they could to break us. And they thought the weaker link was our older sister. Turned out it was.
I was about to say that's what I was about to say. I don't think it was like they broke us. It was they preyed on her for the fact being that she was at her weakest moment at that time and wasn't really in her right mind at the moment. So it was easy for them to go after her and target her because them trying to do what else they do, it wasn't going to be a successful trip. The only thing they succeeded in was that divide between me and you. And like I said, if I know now what I should have known then, it wouldn't have been that way. But again, like I said, there were so many different variables. And that's why I say in life, people got to understand. You may think you have all the answer. The game changes without even recognizing it. Because I can sit here at that point in time and tell people nothing would have ever came between me and you like that. And I would have been wrong because I never foreseen that coming or seen that even happening. You know, and they end up getting what they want, which is, okay, now they're just like us. Now they're all on the out. Now we're happy. Because as long as we had Nana and Mommy, we never, and it wasn't even the fact that she was really the weaker one. It was just, it happened at the right time for them. Mm-hmm. Because neither one of us wasn't really paying attention to what was going on because you wasn't hanging out with her like that. I wasn't hanging out with her like that. But they was. So we wasn't a part of conversations or the manipulation because that's what that was at the end of the day. pure manipulation right down the fucking line.
Well, I
And
wasn't
then
hanging out with her at first because in the beginning because she tried to put me in crazy house. That's why I wasn't vibing with her at first.
I know you guys was on the house when I first moved back for a couple of weeks, I believe it was. Because when I first came back, it was around Christmas. Well, it was around Christmas that I initially, because her man moved down around then too. Because I think he came a couple of days after me, I believe. But you and her was already on the outs. The only reason why I remember this is because you said if I wasn't there, you wouldn't have been going to the train station or no, to the Port Authority to meet him. But it was me, you, and my father, and my ex that went down to meet him and everything. And I remember you saying, well, me and her haven't really spoke like that. I'm like, what's been going on? And
She
that's
tried to
how
put me in
you
the crazy house.
and at that point, you and our younger sister was vibing and kicking and everything. So I was like, okay, well, I figured at that time that I would be able to help mend the situation. And like I said, it just never really worked out because you had everybody else involved. So
I
and then
just
her
go ahead.
and then her boyfriend there at the time got in the shit because he wanted to be a part of the family so bad. Because remember, he hung out with us when he first came down or moved in or whatever. It was me and him. He hung out with us all the time. Then all of a sudden it was he's going over there and talking to them and hanging out with them and doing this and yeah, that's my girl. Ain't nobody gonna do blah blah blah. So I'm like, since when he got his ass on his back? And then that's when the whole situation started arising again about him wanting to put hands on you. I'm like, oh, I would love to see this. And the whole time, I know our older sister is telling him, she's whispering it to him, you don't want to do that. I can watch what she's telling him. And I'm like, hey,
I feel like this. He had a problem with me ever since I had the real conversation with him outside in front of the building when I told him, I said, listen, I'm not going to sit here and butter it up like everyone else does because she told him about Mark. She told him. And I told him straight up, I said, if he walked in this house tomorrow, you would be history. I'm just letting you know that.
I want him on Thanksgiving night when he was walking back to the house about that situation. And he was like, oh, I'm like, yeah, you need to be worried. That's not a guy you want to deal with. I want him myself on that day. But you know how people are, guys think they're really badasses and can take on the world. I left it alone. But do I really think he was ever really in love with her, wanted to be with her? No. He seen the idea of the money that was coming in and he wanted to be a part of it. And he reaped the benefits of it because y'all both splurged on him.
Well, this is the thing. This wasn't a trip that was planned by our sister. This was a trip that was planned by mommy because he asked mommy if he could come for Thanksgiving and mommy said yeah. And they started talking on the phone whenever he would call our sister. They started having conversations. So this was a thing she did because mommy said yes and she wanted to uphold mommy's word. But I told us, I said, listen, shit's changed. Like, I'm not in a festive mood. No one's in a festive mood. So why are you still allowing him to come? Like, something traumatic has happened. Like, you need to tell him, like, he need to hold off. Like, he needs to stay where the hell he's at. No one listened to me, though.
I mean, like I said, I never knew that he was even coming. I found out about it a day before he even got here. But I never knew nothing about that situation. So, like I said, it didn't bother me. I really didn't care one way or the other, but I don't know.
And you know the dude that I told you I'm cool with at work that I hang out with, that I said I'm positive he's Peaches in the male form.
I think so.
They have the same damn birthday. His birthday is August 7th.
But I mean, like I said, it's life. You live, you learn. I had very little regrets about things that I've done when it came to my moving around and everything. And like I said, the littlest regrets is the situation with me and our older sister, pretty much. Other than that, I'm pretty content with everything else. I
I
mean,
mean, go
I
ahead.
don't think I should have done a lot of things that I did for the younger one as I did, but those are a couple of regrets that I got. I mean, like I said, in life, there's very few things that I regret that I've done, but those are a couple of them that I do.
I mean, me personally, I regret everything with the younger one, simply because of the fact of getting back to the beginning of the video, what we was discussing. She never learned how to be an adult, and I doubt she knows how to be an adult at this very moment.
Well,
But
see, I say that I differ with that because she do know how to be an adult. I seen her being an adult. I seen her make wise decisions. She's choosing. There's a difference now. Let's clear this up. There's a difference when you know how to do something and be something, but you're choosing to go a different direction. Because now we're talking choices. She don't have to be on the path that she's on. This is a choice she made. She know how to operate as a self-made individual woman adult, but she's wanting to be like everybody else that she's affiliated with, so she could fit in and be in part of. That way, she don't have to do for herself, which is why I have a lot of guilt on her situation because she's making choices based on how I started her off in life.
well, I mean, you did some of the same things for me, and I didn't turn out like that. So I mean, like you said, it's
Everybody's
about
different. Just
choices.
because you're siblings, just because we're siblings, we are all individuals. It doesn't mean that you're going to end up the same way that she did. That's why I said it's choices. She made a choice. She chose a path that she wanted to go on.
Well, here's my thing, right? Like, I hold a grudge with her based upon the fact that not once but twice she's come in and tried to. Nope. I'm gonna say three times she's come in and tried to ruin my life, because I have no doubt that she's trying to ruin my life now. No doubt. 100%. The shit that's being done, the shit that's being said, how it's being presented, 100%, I believe it's her. And like I told you before, this time I think she won. I don't know how it slipped past me this time, but this time I think she's won. But because of what I taught her and what you taught her and what she's seen from other people, I feel like what I taught her, she flipped it and used it against me. Now, why I think this? Because let's just look at it. We know how she is. Y'all choose other people over me. Twice I removed her from my residence. Twice. So the second time, I believe she started plotting the last day she was here. I believe this was a plot from the beginning. Okay. I believe the constant contact after she left here, the whole I don't hold no grudge against you. You did what you had to do. You have a child now, was all a plot and a plan to try to get me to lower my defenses and not suspect anything was wrong. And then the unsuspecting shit with our older sister happened, and she used that as okay, now I can attack, because my older sister was kind of sort of, I'm not gonna say glue, but the tape in my situation. Like, I can call her or text her and she would give me advice on what I should do, how I should move, blah blah blah, and she did it too sometimes. So she was talking to both of us. But at the same time, she knew that if shit got too out of hand, our sister would call her and talk to her on the phone and be like, listen, yada, 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 blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And she would do the same thing to me. But now that that's not here, I feel like she used that as okay. Now I'm gonna strike because it's gonna be so much coming at him so fast. He's not gonna know how to process it. He's not gonna know what to do, and he's gonna fuck it up on his own. And I damn sure did. I damn sure did. All it took was just a little push, and everything just went. And do I wish I had slowed down and thought about this? Yeah. I didn't even figure this shit out. She did. Once things started getting presented to me, the timelines, how it was presented, why it was presented, it made sense. It made a whole bunch of sense. And then when I told her it was done to you, she was like, well, I don't know that to be true because I don't know about it. It is what it is. Okay, we're not gonna talk about that because that's not discussions that they like to be had on video or whatever. That was just a little tidbit. But anyway, getting back to the sister, I feel like in her mind, she's always had it out for you and I, always. And it was just a matter of how to do it and when to do it, because she knew she did it at the wrong time. Both of us on her ass at the same time wouldn't be good for her. So I figured how I'm thinking she thought was, okay, well, I know the shit that you taught her, so she was going to use that against you, and then the shit that I taught her, she used against me. The difference is you were smart enough to sit and navigate and do what you had to do to get your shit back on track. I just initially went into panic mode and started doing crazy shit. I'm not even gonna lie. I went into panic mode and started doing crazy shit. But like I said, hopefully things could turn around in the future. I don't know. If it does, great. If it doesn't, it was my fault. But at the same time, I'm gonna say this on video so it's on record. I really don't give a fuck. I really hope she doesn't think she has a pass from this. I'm a very patient man. I really hope she don't think that she has a pass from this. Because the fact of the matter is I steered it in the right direction once and she didn't succeed. I imploded this situation. So now I'm kind of in the same boat you was in a few years ago. So now there's some dark days. There's some real dark days. I'm not even gonna lie. There's some real dark days. There's some days with some hope. There's some days with uncertainty. But the consequences that's dealt out from this is based on how my situation plays out. So if it works out, maybe it won't be so bad. But if it doesn't, I have nothing left to lose. So for her sake, I hope the situation turns around. But if it doesn't, then she made her choice.
I mean, again, like I said, one difference between me and a lot of people, maybe even you for that matter, is the fact, like I said, yeah, sometimes I stew in my situation, but the only reason why I'm stewing in it is because I'm trying to work out what the situation is. What can I do if it's fixable for me to fix it? I'm a person that I refuse to let anybody win over me if I have control over the situation. Again, it comes down to the generalization of how bad do you want to fight to keep what is yours? How bad do you want to fight to hold on to what you consider to be your most prized possession? Me, if I tell somebody that they're very important to me, I'm going to fight for them. If I have a situation that I know I can benefit from, I'm going to fight for it. I don't give a fuck what person may try to do this and that. Yes, I may get stumbled across the way, like I said in the last video, but I'm going to use it to help lift me up and motivate me because I know I can succeed. It may take a year, it may take two, but once I do, one, I'm going to enjoy it, and two, I'm going to remember how I got there. But I'd be damned if I would have anybody try to take something away from me that I really love having or enjoy being a part of. And that's why I say it gets me sometimes that I don't say that you get frustrated, but you get so angry that you cloud your own judgment. And that's why I say sometimes you just gotta take a step back out the situation and look at it as a whole and figure out where you can step in and fix whatever problem that could be the major issue in life. Because as a human being or as a person, we don't always see the bigger picture sometimes. And we gotta take a couple of steps back and backtrack and figure out what went wrong and if it's patchable to get to the next point to continue on working on fixing our road. But if you got somebody like that that's in the mix, it's easy to get them out. And once you get them out of the mix, you make sure there's no room for them to ever be able to get back in it again. Unfortunately for her, she had too many chances to enter your life. When I said I was done in 2019 with her after everything she did with her older sister, I haven't spoke or seen or talked, nothing. She can't reach out to me on no platform.
Well, see, the thing about it is, I'll agree with you or whatever. It's just like, it's just like I said. I mean, you may disagree with me, but I don't think she's smart enough to do what she did by herself. She definitely had help from somebody, but at the same time, I feel like it had to be someone that was linked to you and I, or someone that I would never thought would be linked to her, because the precision of her strike, everything came crashing down at me at once. My personal situation, shit at work, shit with his school, just everything came at me at once. And I'm telling you, there was times where I would be in this house alone, sitting in my room, sitting on the bed, rocking and crying, trying to figure out what the fuck happened and how did all this happen so fast and what is my next move. There was times where I didn't even know my own fucking name.
I mean, sometimes that's how things happen. It's a whirlwind. And, you know, believe it or not, I know those feelings. I mean, like I said, I've been through them a couple of times, you know, where you had to ponder thoughts of like, okay, how the hell did this get away from me? How did I not see this? I mean, I had those moments and I'm just going over in my head. Could I have done this differently? And sometimes, even if you could do it differently, will the results being different? Because sometimes things are just meant to be the way that they are. So you can sit here and dwell, but if it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. There's nothing you can really do about it. Either it's going to happen now, or that same situation could happen 2 years or 3 years down the line. So that's where I'm at in life now. You know, sometimes, yeah, I sit, I think, I process, and I ask myself, would it make a difference if it came now or later? Would this still have happened? And if so, is it better that it happened now where I'm in the right mind to be able to deal with it compared to, let's say it happens 2 years down the line and you may be in a worse condition that you are now and not able to deal with it and handle it. So these are different aspects you got to look at it in life. I mean, there's a point where I came to this, and yes, this could be a point where I could lose everything I got. Is it something that I want to happen? No. But I already have prepared myself. I prepared myself for death. I prepared myself to be in a situation where I could lose everything that I got, that I love and cherish. Because I'd rather be alert and aware to know that it's possible that this can happen compared to me saying like, I'm doing everything right, blah, blah, blah. I don't have to worry. When you stop worrying and you stop being scared, that's when shit happens. Trust me, like I said, what I got, I'm scared of losing. And I don't want to lose it. So I make sure I'm always alert. I'm always aware. I'm always paying attention. Who's in the mix? Who's saying this? Who's, you know, A, B, C, D. You can't control everything because sometimes things can get away from you. But if you're pretty much on track of what's going on, maybe that small little thing won't grow to be a big, big thing. And when you let too many people into the equation, things start going awry.
Yep. I fucked up. I'll be 100% a man and admit I fucked up by letting her back in my life again. But at the same time, if our older sister was here, she would attest to this. Like I said, I had no dealings with her coming up here. None. Our older sister was leaving on Easter. I was dropping her off at the train station. We got to the train station. She called our older sister, said, "What are you doing?" She said, "I'm getting dropped off at the train station." She said, "Where are you going?" She said, "Back to the aunt's house." She said, "Well, I'm on my way up there." My older sister said, "What? What are you talking about?" She said, "I'm on my way up there." She said, "How you getting up there?" The cousin's boyfriend, you know who I'm talking about, is bringing me up there. She says, "How you getting back?" "Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna have one of my friends bring me back." That's how that started. So it turned into a visit. A visit turned into a stay. A stay turned into a problem. A problem that I thought I rectified. But and me letting my guard down, this is touching on what you were saying. And me letting my guard down, thinking that the situation was rectified, it got away from me. Because I thought once it was out of my household, it was over with. It was done with. That's where I fucked up at. I took my eyes off the ball. And like I said, I'm not saying I'm not scared of losing what I have. Hell, I already lost what the fuck I had. But I'm not saying
Quickly gone. I mean, it's salvageable.
I I'm not saying I'm not scared of anything. I've been scared since before this. I'm even more scared now. But at the same time, what I'm trying to say is when you're scared, you make irrational decisions. You make snapshot decisions sometimes, and that's what I've been doing. I'm not gonna lie and say I haven't. I've been making some snap decisions, thinking that maybe if I do this, I could fix everything all at once, and I've just been fucking up. I'm talking about personal life, work life, friendships, everything. Like, I'm not even gonna sit here and lie and say my mental is together because it's not. I don't even know what I'm doing from day to day anymore. But I am taking the steps to correct it. It's just I don't feel like the steps that I'm taking is being seen by anyone. So it's like I get to a point where I'm like, why the fuck do I even try? And then I'm like, I try because this means a lot to me, even if people don't think it does, it does. So I mean, I'm gonna fight until it's over, but hopefully it won't be over. Hopefully.
See, what we do as people sometimes is we get caught up in a situation and we hit panic mode without realizing it. And we confuse it with being scared, or we confuse it with something else other than being in straight panic mode. And that's when a lot of irrational decisions are made. I mean, we have to understand as people, we're not perfect. We're going to do things that seems to be right at the moment because sometimes we have a quick thought, as you said, and it's not a processed thought. It's something that just pops into our head because it seems right. I've been guilty of doing that too. But when you get those moments, sometimes you got to force yourself to really, before you even say or do anything, you got to force yourself to step back and like, wait a minute, let's make sure that this is the right thought because you're eager to think that you're doing the right thing, which you could be. But like I said before, sometimes the right thing is not the right thing. So we as people, we get an idea, we don't really always process it. It's like you enter the head and then you just go right ahead and do it. So sometimes you feel guilty about certain things and you figure, well, if I do this, it take care of that problem. It's resolved, it's under the bridge. But it's not always resolved. It's like just taking duct tape and patching something together. It's a temporary fix. And you forget about it and you don't really go back to fix it up or, really complete that task. But it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a horrible person. and you can just take it as a learning lesson and know what not to have happen to you from now on. You have to know who to allow around you, who not to have around you. You're still growing, you're still learning. As long as you're still trying to better yourself, that's the key element of life. It's never to quit. Fight until you can't fight no more.
I agree, but I mean, for me, like I said, it's the situation started, and I'm gonna admit that I probably made it 1,000 times worse with my emotional ass. Like I said in my other video, Pisces are emotional. When they start feeling like they're losing something that's important to them, whether it be a relationship, a friendship, or something materialistic, they become emotional. They start making snap decisions. They start going into panic mode. They start going into defense mode. A lot of times, our actions are of passion, not of anger, but people see them as anger. But like I said before, that's where my regret and grudge comes from the sister. As far as the aunt's grudge comes from when she told me I was responsible for our mom's death and all the mental and verbal abuse I've taken over the years from the aunt. Now, she'll say I've never done anything like that to him. Bullshit. I've been told by her as well that I'm not family, that I'm not 100% family because I don't share the same father as you guys. That's come out of her mouth, verbatim. So there's no way in the world she's gonna tell me that she wasn't part of my mistreatment as well. I've heard it from her. I've heard it from the two cousins, the three cousins actually. I've heard it from the middle sister. I've heard it from the other cousins, her daughters. I've heard it from pretty much almost everybody. So there's no way in the world they're gonna tell me that they wasn't part of my mental and emotional abuse growing up. So that right there is reason enough why I don't want to try anymore with them. Like I've tried before for our mom, I tried for our older sister. After the last time, I was good, 100%. It's been almost 5 years since I've actually spoken to them. Because even when she was living there, I didn't speak to them. I spoke to our sister, and that was it. I didn't even go upstairs when I would go pick her up to bring her up here. I would call her 10 minutes when I was 10 minutes out because I knew it took time for the elevator to get there, and she would be downstairs waiting for me, and she'll get in my car and we'll go.
I mean, like I said, for me, I don't dwell on it because I realize when you dwell on it, it just brings more chaos. Everything is stored away in the box. It's in a box, locked away. I don't give a fuck about it no more. Like I said, because what's done is done. I know there's no going back to it, and I'm a person. I just move on from the situation because you keep thinking about it, keep talking about it, and just like keep living it over and over again. So to me, I really don't give a damn. I'm doing good as I am. I'm not asking nobody for nothing. I'm not dealing, so I'm good. Let them be, let them do their thing. Whatever happens, happens. I mean, that's just the way I have trained myself. I put things in the back. I try to stay focused on my present and prepare myself for the future.
I'm learning to do that, but then like now I'm starting to think of other things since we're doing this video because the cousin, the one that has the two kids, three kids, three kids, the cousin hits me up once in a while, you know, and we say hi and bye, but then at random times she's like, "Have you heard from your brother?" And like I'm looking at the text and I'm like, "Why is this a question?" And I'm like, "Nah, like I don't really speak to him like that. Like I see him on Messenger from time to time. That's about it." So I say to myself, why is her of all people asking about you? And then I figured that maybe we looked at the situation wrong. Maybe the sister is not with your brother. Maybe the sister is at Annette's, at the aunt's. Maybe she's there because they're all intertwined with each other. And for her to ask me about you doesn't make sense to me. So maybe she's there because when I bring her up to her, she clams up. No, I haven't spoken to her. No, she said, no, you know I don't mess with your sister. And she did that when she was helping me with our sister's arrangements. She was asking for her social security number. And I'm like, I don't know it. She knows it. Call her. You know I don't mess with your sister. I'll just wait until you get down here. And I'm like, what the fuck happened between y'all two? I just don't mess with her. I'm like, oh, okay. And like now shit's starting to make sense.
I told you all the females are phony. I don't. Like I said, my business is my business, and yes, I will be upset with anybody that says anything about me to any of them. When I want no one to speak of me to them at all. To me, to them, I should be dead. I don't exist. They should not have no concerns about me. Period.
Well, yeah, we know you get upset if you're brought up because you fucking changed your Facebook and number and didn't fucking tell me until fucking almost a year later and was like, oh well, they was hitting me up and I didn't know who gave them my information, so I just broke away from everybody. You could have fucking hit me up and was like, hey, did you give them my information? And I would have told you I don't speak to them.
When I don't know something, I'm not just gonna say, okay, this person. I take myself out the equation from everybody until I can figure out what the situation is. That's been me. I mean, a lot of people get upset about that. I get it. But until I know for a fact, or if I can't figure it out, then I'm taking myself completely off the grid and doing something different. And when I'm ready to talk to you, then I'll find you somehow, some way to do that. But like I said, my life is private. It's private for a reason. And when I tell somebody I don't want no interjection from nobody else, I don't want no interjections from nobody else.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I thought you changed your Facebook and changed your number because I was having a child because we was talking. You liked the sonogram, and then 3 days later you was gone. I'm like, damn.
I'm still mad. I don't remember seeing the sound. I mean, I know you said I did, but I like I said, that was so long ago, and my memory sometimes is not always that precise, but I don't remember you even putting up when you was first having your son, because that's why I said when you told me he was 2, I'm like, damn, I didn't know he was. I don't know. Like I said, there was times where I was just going through so much at certain points, and nobody knew what I was going through. That a lot of things didn't even stick in my head because there was years where I just had a lot of shit going on, and it was a bit much. I mean, I even take myself off the grid when I go through a lot of fucking personal stuff because I don't want nobody else constantly, are you okay? How you holding up? What's like, I hate all that shit. So when I'm going through shit, I just take myself off the grid.
Well, you know, I talk to your ass every day anyway. So if you're going through shit, I'm still gonna talk to you every day.
I mean, I'm working on that. That's just so it's just been one of my mechanisms. Period. Since I can remember.
But yeah, fucking shit. There's 7 people watching this, and ain't no one say nothing. Well, at least we got the views. But yeah, fucking when we doing this again?
I don't know. Maybe sometime during the week.
Yeah, I'm pretty much free almost every night during the week because I'll be home alone and he goes to bed early.
I guess we could try for Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah, we could do Wednesday. Final thoughts? Any final thoughts?
Again, enjoyable. Hope the contact can help somebody and understand that we have different elements of life problems that we talk to or talk through and try to understand. And hopefully our situation can be helpful to somebody else.
Agreed. Everything he said, I agree with. Yep. This is Vibrant of the Vibrant Truth. That's my brother Leo. Shout outs to the tattoo parlor. You see the logo in the corner. We will be back Wednesday. Don't know what the fuck we're gonna talk about, but we're gonna figure it out. This has been the Vibrant Truth, and we will catch you later.